another day, another dumb take from an out-of-touch Hollywood celebrity.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
Scarlett Johansson, who's currently on the promo trail for Jurassic World Afterbirth, and probably praying to whatever demonic entity the good folks of Tinseltown worship that this movie isn't going to be the cinematic disaster that the reviews have painted it as.
Yes, talk about it. Moloch the Owl God. Look up Bohemian Grove. I can't make this shit up, by the way. Your favorite actors, world leaders, and bankers all get together to worship a pagan deity called Moloch, and they mock a child sacrifice. I wish I could make this up, but look up Bohemian Grove if you don't believe me.
Oh dear. Don't worry though, I'll be reviewing that film soon enough. Believe that. Anyway, a couple of days ago, Miss Johansson took some time out of her busy schedule to do an interview with the Times of London, where she offered up her thoughts on the current state of Hollywood and one of her favourite subjects these days.
See, that's the problem. We don't pay you to think. You thinking too much. You thinking too much. Turn it off. You're a millionaire. Stop thinking. Just do the thing. Just stop thinking.
Dreaded male gaze.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my God!
The male gaze.
When I was younger, a lot of roles I was offered or I went for had their ambitions or character arcs revolving around their own desirability, or the male gaze, or a male-centered story. That's less frequent though. Something has shifted. Oh boy, you're not kidding, Scarlett. Something has indeed shifted in Hollywood, but probably not in the way you think.
Yeah,
now, this isn't
it's a different kind of male gaze you need to be worried about. Are you being homophobic there, Scarlett, talking about the male gaze?
the first time she's spoken up about this kind of thing. In fact, she's been banging on about it for a couple of years now. Funnily enough, as that big 4-0 loomed ever closer, just like in this interview from back in 2022, where she explains... I kind of became objectified and pigeonholed in this way where I felt like I wasn't getting offers for work for things that I wanted to do. I remember thinking to myself, I think people think I'm 40 years old. It somehow stopped being something that was desirable and something that I was fighting against.
Yeah.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Oh, really? Please tell us more about how you resented all those high-profile roles that literally made your career and kept it afloat for the past 2 decades, or how uncomfortable you were with all those multi-million-dollar paychecks. Truly, it must have been a real nightmare for you, Scarlett. I don't know how you coped.
Yes, I can definitely smell shite.
I know it must suck for some of these women because their beauty is what gives them so many opportunities, but as their beauty fades, they just go into denial. And the truth of the matter is, as a woman, as you get older, your value isn't in your beauty anymore. It becomes about your family and how you've maintained your family and what you contribute to your family. And not only your family, but the community around you with your nurturing spirit. So women get valued for different things as they get older in age. And I think Scarlett's just hitting that age where you're no longer valued for your beauty. But the worst part about that is for her is that it's your greatest weapon, but also your greatest weakness.
Ability or anything, but do you really think she would have had the career she's had if she looked like this?
True. It's true.
It all kind of strikes me as the Hollywood equivalent of the old, you can't fire me, I quit argument. Trying to get ahead of something that's inevitably going to happen anyway by reframing it as some brave self-sacrificing decision on your own part.
Right. How you hating from outside the club, you can't even get in. Now you turning 40 and you saying you don't want the male attention. It's because you ain't getting it no more. You hating from outside the club.
But you see, it's not like all those juicy high-profile roles are now being offered to younger and hotter actresses, and I'm kind of yesterday's news now. I'm choosing to take on more mature and interesting parts, because I'm more than just eye candy for sweaty teenage boys nowadays. You know, it's actually an interesting pattern of behaviour in these 40-something actresses who all mysteriously get tired of the male gaze just as the male gaze is about to get tired of them. The thing is, I kind of agree with her, at least in principle here. I agree that it's bad for any actor to be typecast and pigeonholed into certain roles when they want to broaden their creative range, but what can I say?
It's Hollywood, baby.
It's an industry based around pattern recognition and branding, selling actors like they're commodities, and it's not a uniquely female problem in the slightest. Take Hugh Grant, for example. That guy had to labour away for most of his career playing foppish, bumbling British guys in tedious romantic comedies because that's what people knew him for.
Yeah, if you're fat in Hollywood, you're automatically the funny guy. And Hollywood only has room for about 2 or 3 fat funny guys at once. So if you're fat as a man, you're just kind of in a tough spot. And to be honest, the same thing goes for a lot of comedians. Like, their greatest weapon is that they have the ability to be funny, but eventually as they get older, you see them trying to do more serious roles because they want to start getting taken serious. Sometimes don't nobody want to just be the class clown. Sometimes you want to be taken serious and you want to show that you have that depth, especially if you're an artist.
Matthew McConaughey suffered from the same problem, trapped in rom-com purgatory for more than a decade before escaping into more mature roles in his 40s and 50s. Or how about all those action stars from the 80s and 90s who tried and failed to transition into other genres, only to fade out completely in the 2000s when they aged out of their roles. The sad reality is that most actors end up being known for something that
it reminds me of the Hector meme. Like, this guy's been in a gazillion movies, but every time you can see his name in every movie and it's just Hector, 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 Hector. He got pigeonholed into the role of Hector, and even though he was a part of a lot of classics, he can never escape that character. And the same thing goes for other actors. Like, Harry Potter will always be Harry Potter. He can be sad Harry Potter. He can be boyfriend Harry Potter. He can be action movie Harry Potter. But he will always be Harry Potter. He has the same issue, too. I forget his name, though.
Up defining the course of their careers, whether it's charming good looks, a flair for comedy, big muscles, or just being really attractive, I guess. It's not a good or a bad thing, it's just the way the world works.
Right.
The Scarlett Johansson from 10 or 15 years ago understood this perfectly well because she reaped the rewards of being beautiful and getting lots of opportunities that other, less attractive actresses probably got passed over for. Do you think all those young, aspiring stars felt bad for you? Or do you think they ended up staring long and hard at their own reflections, cursing the fact that in the great genetic lottery, you just so happen to have better luck than them?
Yes, you are under immense privilege, and privilege is invisible to those who have it. You are in the most privileged country in the world and one of the most privileged careers in the world. You're a multi-millionaire. You need to cheer up. Yeah, you have a duty to be happy if you are in this position in America. There are people who can't afford health care that work 40 hours a week, and you think that you're facing adversity or that somebody's going to feel bad about your circumstance? She's complaining about sexism in one of the most progressive institutions in the world, which is Hollywood. That's just crazy to me. And the most ironic part is that she's complaining now after having reaped all of the benefits.
Do you think they feel bad for you now as you approach the end of this particular phase of a career that they never even got a chance to experience?
Right.
But okay, let's move past the angst of a fading star facing up to the unrelenting march of time and ask ourselves, is the male gaze really a thing in movies? Or is it just a case of Hollywood understanding their audience and giving them what they want? Because here's another uncomfortable truth for you. Us humans enjoy looking at attractive people.
Yeah. Uh-oh, he's making people mad. Yeah, they're mad.
It's crazy, I know, but there's a reason why the biggest and most successful movie stars throughout history tend to have been easy on the eye.
Right.
It's because we're attracted to them, whether we want to admit it or not. There's a reason why male and female stars work so hard to stay in shape.
Right.
We like looking at all those tanned, sculpted bodies. It makes us feel good. It's aspirational. Is it realistic? Not really, but deep down we don't really want it to be.
Right, that's the whole
Reality
point.
is beer guts and unwanted body hair and disappointingly pale, sagging flesh. If we want to look at shit like that, we only have to look in the mirror. And like I said earlier, wanting to look at attractive people on screen isn't a uniquely male trait, and if anything, it seems to be skewing in the opposite direction nowadays. Ever noticed in the Marvel films how the ladies' outfits have gradually become more padded, bulky, and concealing like it's the fucking 19th century again? While every male actor is still expected to do the obligatory shirtless scene?
Right.
I'll tell you why. It's because every straight woman in the Western Hemisphere has probably rubbed one out to shirtless Hemsworth. We all know it happens, and we all know the female gaze is something that Hollywood absolutely caters to.
Definitely.
And has for a very long time.
Funniest part is we know that these people don't really stand for anything. They're essentially just billboards, and they're up for the highest bidder. Since Hollywood has gotten exposed, we know that a lot of these people are just virtue signalers, and they only want to be activists when it benefits them. And that's usually when they're looking to get a role that they probably shouldn't be in, or if they're just trying to say what's popular to stay relevant. I mean, they're literally professional liars. The better they are at lying, the more we like them in the movies. That's the whole point.
But have you ever stopped to think for 1 second how much work and sacrifice and dedication it takes to get that kind of physique? Because trust me, whatever diets and exercise plans the ladies go on to stay trim, it absolutely pales in comparison to what these guys have to put their bodies through.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman famously revealed that he has to know the exact date of his shirtless scenes 6 months in advance so he can get into peak shape.
Yeah.
What you're seeing in those few seconds on screen is basically the end result of an extremely long and punishing bodybuilding regime.
And just like bodybuilders, when they go to perform, they're in their weakest state. So when they're at that low of a body fat percentage and they've probably water fasted, meaning they haven't drank any water so they can look more vascular on TV, they're probably in the weakest state they've been in months.
And as anyone who's tried something like that can tell you, it is not fucking fun.
Right.
But does anyone complain about it? Not really. There's no outrage, no accusations of exploitation, no complaints about the female gaze. They just kind of get on with it because they know it's expected of them.
Right.
So I guess what I'm trying to say with all of this is that generally being a movie star means you're in the business of looking good, whether you want to or not. It's not really about a male gaze or a female gaze, it's a human gaze. We like beautiful people, and if you're lucky enough to be one and reap the rewards and opportunities that come with it, well, maybe don't expect the rest of us to feel too sorry for you when it's all over. Anyway, that's all I've got for today.
Scarlett Johansson complaining about the male gaze. We got homophobic Scarlett Johansson before we got GTA 6, by the way. Scarlett Johansson complaining about the male gaze. We got homophobic Scarlett Johansson before we got GTA 6, by the way.